XeF2, XeF4, XeF6, XeOF4, XeO3, XeO4. You need to know their structures and hybridized state of central atom. Notice noble gases make compound only with highly electronegative elements like oxygen and fluorine. Helium neon compounds are not known yet. Radon is the radioactive noble gas obtained by radio decay of radium. Radium gives radon and helium. Is 88, 86 to. If you say it is 226, it is 222, 4. Notice that this is the element that gives two noble gases by decay. And notice again that radon is the noble gas not present in air. It is not there in air. The reaction of XeF4 with water is important. Reaction of Fe6 with water also is worth learning. How the noble gas fluorides combine with SpF5, PF5, etc. is also important. By and large, every student should know that XeF2, XeF4, XeF6, XeO3, XeO4, XeOF4. Their hybridized state of central atom. Can you say hybridized state? Shape. Can you say this?
sp3d and linear.
It is AB to E3 type. It is sp3d2, AB4E2 type.
Square planar.
sp3d3, AB6E1 type. It is sp3, sp3. It is sp3d2. It is AB5 E type. If you look at the shapes, linear, square, planar, it is distorted octahedron, it is pyramidal, it is tetrahedral, and it is square pyramid. That's all. You should know their structures and easy to prepare. Directly noble gas and fluorine in limited supply. Noble gas and fluorine 1:5, 1:10, 1:20. Hydrolysis of noble gas fluorides will give these compounds. Just the easy chapter. There is nothing serious in that. You should know the uses of helium. Also, you notice that helium in liquid phase shows anomalous behavior that flows from down to up. There is nothing very serious about them. All are gases, all are non-metals. If you are going to discuss one more noble gas, its atomic number will be 118. What is the big deal in that? It won't take just 1 hour to revise that topic. Hello, sir. Hello?
Yes, sir.
You have to read the NCERT book thoroughly 3-4 times and then just every day flip the pages, that's all. It will fetch you minimum 1 question. Only textbook matter, nothing is needed. So today I want to start one chapter, complete it in 4 days' time. I don't want to give more time than that because we have to complete the portions as soon as possible so that, in revision, we will be familiarizing with more models. Well, today we are going to look at a topic whose name this weekend syllabus is complete chapter. What is the name? Hello.
General
principles and process of isolation of
elements.
The weekend syllabus is this complete chapter.
Okay, sir.
Don't blame me. We have to do this. First point I want to say, we are mainly focusing on extraction of metals here. Okay. You may be interested to learn how to extract chlorine. Extraction of chlorine we have done in previous chapter. How to get chlorine in Nelson cell, or by electrolysis of aqueous NaCl, or by reacting sodium chloride with MnO2 and H2SO4. Extraction of non-metals we are not really worried in this chapter. We are more worried about extraction of what?
Metals.
Metals. Metal is that which shines, which make metallic noise, which is malleable, which is ductile, which is a good conductor of current, which is readily losing electrons, electropositive. More tendency to lose electron means more metallic. Down a group, metallic nature always increases, no exception. Down any group, metallic nature increases. In periodic table, left to right, always metallic nature decreases. Top to bottom increases. We are mainly focusing on extraction of what?
Metals.
Metal.
The naturally occurring form of any element, probably a compound with many impurities, is called mineral. Generally, you don't have iron in the earth crust as iron metal. You don't have gold as gold vessel. You don't have silver as silver spoon. Always these fellows are available as a part of rocks. Everything is a rock. So you have to take out the rock, you have to remove the unwanted matter called gangue. You have to concentrate the required matter, and then you should convert the required matter into metal, which is impure. The material I add to convert the compound of metal into metal is called a reducing agent. For example, iron oxide is the natural occurring form of iron. It is rust. To the rust, I will be adding carbon and heating. Carbon will take away oxygen from iron oxide so that you will be left with iron. The carbon which is used to remove the oxygen of iron oxide is called as a reducing agent. Sometimes you can't find a good reducing agent. For example, if you have sodium chloride, how to remove chlorine? There is no known reducing agent that can remove chlorine from NaCl. In that case, you will be using electric current, electrolytic reduction. Hello.
So your voice is breaking, sir.
Congratulations.
Your voice is breaking.
Yeah, the power is fluctuating. What I do is, I'll go to another room. Let me see whether it improves.
Yes, sir.
I'll go to the room. I have a signal here. Now, am I audible?
Now audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Closer to rotor. Hello.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
is it better, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, we were wondering the naturally occurring form of compounds.
Again picking.
Very good. Now, if you want iron, iron is not available as an iron bucket. Iron is not available as an iron. Iron is available as a compound of iron called iron oxide. It has a name called hematite. It has different formates: hematite, magnetite, siderite, so on. So all these hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
వచ్చింది కదా ఆయనతో మాట్లాడేది hello. So let us scan this paragraph. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Mineral is a naturally occurring form of a compound that is naturally occurring form of a compound of a metal from which you can get the metal in principle. For example, iron oxide, which is known as hematite, is having a formula Fe2O3. From Fe2O3, there is a lot of impurities naturally. The unwanted impurities which have high melting point and difficult to separate are called gangue. And this gangue can be removed by adding something called flux. Flux is a foreign matter you are adding to a mineral In order to remove unwanted impurity gang, and whenever this gang, the waste material of the mineral, combines with the flux which you have added, you get what is called a slag. The slag is really used to make road tops, and it has some construction activity. It is sometimes sold as fly ash. Nowadays, instead of sand, they are using fly ash for construction. Whatever. I was wondering, mineral is a naturally occurring compound of a metal along with many impurities. And from that, you have to separate the gang, and then you will be getting, compound of a metal which you want to extract. That compound of a metal is converted to metal by heating or adding some reducing agent. If you don't have good reducing agents around, sometimes you use electric current itself. Then it is called electrolytic reduction. Then you will be getting impure metal, or impure metal is to be concentrated, purified. That is called refinement. So in the metallurgical extraction, a identification of mineral, the naturally occurring compound with impurities. The mineral from which metal can be extracted profitably is called ore. In fact, we have to identify ores. From ore, you have to remove the gang. You have to identify the flux. Then after removing gang, you have to concentrate the ore, and then you have to use a good reducing agent. And then you get impure metal, which can be refined, and you get ultimately pure metal. These are the steps in the extraction of metals. It is easy to extract some metals like gold and silver. They are very easy. It is difficult to extract some metals like sodium, potassium, which are highly electropositive. Usually, the contamination present in the ore is called gang. So in the extraction of metals, what are the three steps? Concentration of the ore, that is removal of gang. Isolation of the metal from its concerned ore by using a reducing agent. And the refinement or purification of the metal. Are we very clear about it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are going to look at the page number 2. Every student with no exception should by heart this list of words. There is no compromise. This is a minimum list. In fact, normally we used to give 200 words. But nowadays, the government has restricted the questions to textbook. We are not adding anything new. All the formulae, all the names of the words you have to by heart. Bauxite is actually Al2O3 2H2O, which can be written as AlOX OH3 minus 2X, where 0 is less than X, which is less than 1. Kaolinite is a form of clay. It is aluminosilicate. Hematite, magnetite, or oxide ores of iron. Siderite is a carbonate ore of iron. Iron pyrite, sometimes called copper iron pyrites. It is a sulfide ore of iron. FeS2 is otherwise called fool's gold because it looks like gold, but it has no gold. Fool's gold is FeS2. Copper pyrites is actually copper iron pyrites, CuS.FeS. Malachite is basic copper carbonate. Basic means copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. Cuprite, ite means oxide. Glances are sulfide ores. Zinc blend or sphalerite is ZNS. Calamine is zinc carbonate. Zincite is ZNS. They have not written, what is galena, PBS, what is zinc blend, ZNS, what is cinnabar, HGS, what is dolomite, CaCO3 dot MgCO3, what is carnallite, KCl, MgCl to 6H2O. So many words list is not included. They made it very simple. At least this list you have to learn. For the purpose of extraction of bauxite, chosen aluminum ore is bauxite is chosen to extract aluminum. There are many other ores of aluminum, but extraction of aluminum from bauxite is cheaper. Generally, we have large quantities of oxide ores, and most of the time we try to extract metals from oxide ores. We don't prefer copper iron pyrite. CuFeS2 is not preferred to extract iron. We prefer only oxide because copper iron pyrite CuFeS2 that often evolve SO2 in the process of metallurgy. SO2 is a polluting gas. It causes acid rain and it is creating problem. So we definitely use only oxide ores. Whenever you want to concentrate the ore, first it is in the form of huge stones, big stones. They are a part of mountains or hills, or they are there underground. The big stones are to be made into small handy stones. That is called ore dressing, then powdering and washing with water. All these steps are called pulverizing. So generally ores are pulverized and then we try to concentrate. Notice in the concentration of ores, there are many methods. Washing with water is a good idea. Normally in a household also, your mother washes the rice before cooking, I think. Is she washing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Even she washes vegetables, right? After peeling also sometimes they wash. Hydraulic washing is an attempt to wash the powdered ore through fast flowing water. Lighter impurities like charcoal and whatever unwanted will be drained out. Hydraulic washing. If the ore powder or its impurity, either the ore or impurity is attracted by magnet, you use magnetic separation. In magnetic separation, you have two rollers which are rotating connected by a belt. On the belt, you put the powdered ore, and out of the rollers, one is made with magnet. When the powdered ore comes, the part which is attracted by magnet falls separately from the part which is non-magnetic. Therefore, this is the way to separate non-magnetic and magnetic components of the powdered ore. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I will give a specific example not given in the textbook. There is a tin stone, SnO2 ore. The tin stone ore is used to extract the tin, Sn. The SnO2 ore often has FeWO4, wolframite. FeWO4, wolframite as an impurity. The FeWO4 is a magnetic in nature. Notice the magnetic
Your
method
voice
is
is breaking,
useful.
sir.
Sir, magnetic method is useful if either the ore or the impurity is magnetic in nature. If both are magnetic, this method is useless. If both are
So your voice is
non-magnetic, it
breaking.
is useless. I am sorry,
Clear,
sir.
sir.
Clear
power
only,
is-
sir.
The power is fluctuating and that's a problem. What I do is, sir, I want you to read this before we go to class. Please read 6.2.3, 6.2.2 and 6.2.4. You read this lesson so that tomorrow when I teach, it will be much easier to you. I think I may not be able to continue this class because I have to go for a meeting. Our college is conducting one meeting.
Yes, sir.
But meeting is not important. If I am not audible, I have to abandon. If I am audible, I will continue. Hello?
Audible, sir. Clear.
Otherwise, I will switch off and switch on. Let us see. Please. Sir, there is a method called froth flotation. Froth means lather. You know, when you apply soap on your body with water, you get lather. That is froth. When you are handling sulfide ores, the froth flotation method can be used to separate the ore from impurities. For example, if you have zinc blend ZNS, if you have copper glance CuFeS2, all the sulfide ores, Cinnabar HGS, all the sulfide ores can be concentrated. The impurities can be removed by froth flotation. What we do? Take powdered ore in a tank. Here it is. And to this, add 3 to 4 times water, lot of water. In that water, you add something that can give leather like pine oil, eucalyptus oil, coconut oil, some oil, and then something called ethyl xanthate. Ethyl xanthate. Then, with the help of rotating paddle, you blow air. You are shaking very well with flowing air. Then you get a lot of lather. What you are adding, sir? To the water, you are adding powdered ore and eucalyptus oil or coconut oil or pine oil and ethyl xanthate. When you are shaking it with blow of air, a lot of lather will come. To the froth, the mineral particles will stick. And the rocks, unwanted impurities are left in the bottom. So take out the froth with ladle, dry the froth, you get a beautiful concentrated ore. Sir, last year in IIT Mains, they asked a question. The question was so stupid, I was surprised. Look at this.
Hello.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir. Hello? Can't hear you, sir.
Yes, sir. Now we are not able to hear you, sir.
Unable to hear you, sir.
Yes, sir. Unable to hear.
भाई सही नहीं है क्लास में।
सर का ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, उन्होंने डिस्कनेक्ट होकर करते ज्वाइन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं बोल के बोले।
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Luckily
Yes,
I
sir.
got reconnection. I lost connection. Sir, this question, I was surprised to see this. In 2019, they asked this question in IIT Mains. I never thought that such questions can be asked in IIT, but they asked. This is the question. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Not,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
The
Not we are
question
able to.
was, who helped in the discovery of froth flotation process? First option A, barber. Second option A, singer. Third option A, washerwoman. Fourth option, a dancer. What is the answer?
Spider-Man.
Washerwoman.
I never thought that that question can be framed. Notice that a gentleman who was working in metallurgical operations used to give his dress for washing to a lady. And they were more worried as to what is the cheapest method to concentrate ore. It was very difficult to concentrate the ore, and they were spending a lot of money on that. This washerwoman one day reported that she made an observation. What is that observation? How Everson used that observation to develop a cheaper process to wash, to concentrate ore. That method is froth flotation. Okay, can we read this? A washerwoman had an innovative mind too. While washing a miner's overalls, she noticed that sand and similar dirt fell into the bottom of the washtub. What was peculiar, the copper-bearing compound that had come to the cloth from the mines were caught in the soap suds, and so they came to the top. She noticed that fine ore particles free from impurities were floating on the froth. So if you separate the froth and dry, you will be getting beautifully shining concentrated ore particles, whereas in the bottom of the wash tub, all the unwanted impurities will be left behind. This is the clue she gave. When she gave this clue, the miner called Carrie Everson actually tried this to the powdered ore. To the powdered ore, he added a lot of water and a little bit of oil and shaked it very well to get leather, and made an observation that the ore particles were sticking to the froth and that particles are remaining in the bottom. When he had taken out the froth or leather out or dried, he got a shining leather, concentrated ore. So this method is called froth flotation method. Especially this is used to concentrate sulfide ores, and this particular innovation made extraction of copper more profitable. In low grade ores, they made profits of millions of dollars using this innovative method. Now you will be wondering, sir, if I have zinc sulfide and lead sulfide, two sulfide ores are there, then how can I separate these two using froth flotation? Even if you have two sulfide ores, sir, you have one interesting method. To the ore, you have to add water as usual, pine oil and ethyl xanthate as usual. Along with that, you will be adding NaCN, sodium cyanide, cyanide of first group metal. When you add sodium cyanide, this is called depressant. It will make a soluble complex with the zinc. So your zinc sulfide will become sodium tetracyanozincate complex, and it will remain in solution. Only lead sulfide will stick to the froth. So if there are two sulfides and if you want one fellow to only to float, other fellow not to float, you have to use a depressant like NaCl. So you need to be familiar with this method. What is this method? The method has been in use for removing gangue and waste particles from sulfide ores. In this process, suspension of powdered ore is made with water. Collectors and froth stabilizers are added. Collector means any oil like pine oil, eucalyptus oil, or coconut oil or xanthates, they make the ore particles non-wettable to water. Non-wettable to water means the ore particles are not allowed to stick to water, but they are made wettable to oil. It means they can stick only to oil or froth. And the other part is called stabilizer that can stabilize the froth, which is generally cresols, phenols, aniline, etc. Otherwise, froth will not be stable. Froth means lather. So you will be using froth stabilizers like cresol and aniline, etc. And also collectors which will help the ore particles to stick to the froth. So the mineral particles become wet by oils, gangue particles will be wet by water. You are using a rotating paddle that agitates the mixture to draw air and generate froth. The froth is light and it is having the ore particles that are stick to it. You just skim it off using ladles, and then dry means you get concentrated ore. Depressants like NaCN are used if you have two sulfide ores like ZNS and PBS, out of which ZNS is made soluble with NaCN, only PBS sticks to froth. That is all about your froth flotation. Even in 2021 January session, 2022 sessions, they asked questions about froth flotation. So it is a very simple thing I want you to read. It is the easiest and cheapest chapter that can give you one question. Don't miss this chapter. It is the easiest in the entire 2 years chemistry. So leech is an animal that lives in water that sucks our blood. Leaching is a process of using water where a part or a compound of metal dissolves, from which you can separate the metal. So leaching is a process which is often used if the ore is soluble in some soluble solvent, suitable solvent. Let me look at the leaching process of bauxite. Bauxite is a ore of aluminum, Al2O3 2H2O. This Al2O3 2H2O has impurities like sand, SiO2, iron oxide like Fe2O3, titanium oxide like TiO2. All these are unwanted. Therefore, what you do is you take the ore with many impurities, powder it and add NaOH and start heating it under pressure. When the temperature is about 200 degrees centigrade or 250 degrees centigrade, under high pressure, all the Al2O3 are gently dissolves in NaOH to give sodium meta-aluminate, formula NaAlOH taken 4 times. The other impurities like SiO2, TiO2, Fe2O3, they keep quiet. They don't undergo any change. They remain as stones in the bottom of the solution. Only Al2O3 dissolves in NaOH. You take that aluminate solution, separate and pass it carbon dioxide to neutralize. When you pass carbon dioxide from NaAlOH taken 4 times, urgently Al2O3 gets precipitated again. According to the equation, 2 NaAlOH taken 4 times in water, which is soluble, you are bubbling carbon dioxide. Only aluminum precipitate says Al2O3 excess 2O. Sodium bicarbonate is dissolved in water. You take the precipitate out and strongly ignite it at 1470 K. You get a pure Al2O3. Notice, you started with Al2O3, you ended with Al2O3. Then why all this fun? You are starting Al2O3 has many impurities. Your final Al2O3 is free from impurities. Can you see it, sir? Once you get Al2O3, you can separate aluminum from it by electrolytic refining. What is it, sir? Electrolytic reduction. Simply to say, you take this Al2O3, which has very high melting point, which is a bad conductor of current, and you will be adding cryolite Na3AlF6 and CaF2. The CaF2 will lower the melting point of Al2O3. Cryolite Na3AlF6 will increase the electrical conductance. So to Al2O3, which is taken out, which is pure, you add two things. One is CIF2 called fluorspar. The other one is cryolite called Na3AlF6 and heat. Urgently, all the Al2O3 will melt and starts conducting current. When you pass current through this, aluminum is deposited at a negative terminal called cathode, and oxygen gas is liberated from positive terminal. So Al2O3 can be converted into aluminum metal in electrolytic refining method. So this method originally requires washing with water that contain NaOH. Then only